Hello everyone. This is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast, and today I'm joined here with
Alex Miller,
an awesome Masters level Zerg, and also president of the Purdue StarCraft Club. And yeah, he's definitely going to be here to provide some awesome insight on the Terran versus Zerg matchup. But we're here with game number 2. And if you haven't seen game number 1 between LiquidSea and LiquidRet, please go ahead and click on the annotation below, and it'll go ahead and take you to that game first. But if you're still around, we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce these players. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, once again, we have representing Team Liquid is going to be LiquidRet, the game of drones, the king of drones, and yeah, he's currently down 0-1 in this best of 3 series, so really going to be interested to see what he has planned for us in this game to make a comeback, considering it's the same matchup, same spawn positions, same map, same everything, and he has to do something a little bit different in this game. And who's spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, Alex?
in the bottom left, we have the blue Terran from Team Liquid, C. Also formerly a Kespa Pro and very strong Terran as we saw last game. He played a really textbook ZVT, TVZ against Ret, who's really well known for his long macro style, and he put it to Ret. Ret was, I think, desperate at times, but as he showed, C is a force to be reckoned with, even with his short time playing SC2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really awesome to see how C actually does in the future coming months of StarCraft. I mean, we have seen a lot of those, old Brood War players such as July Zerg, Slayer's Boxer, etc. do really well in StarCraft 2, but a lot of them have fallen a little bit out of place. And meanwhile, we have the Kespa players such as Flash, Jaedong, Stork, etc. all doing really well, especially I think CJ Entis did especially well recently at the Asia WCS finals. I don't know if you tuned in for that, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the Kespa players starting to make a bit of a comeback. And what's this?
Oh, I was going to say that the CJ team really has some strong Zerg. I think it's Roro and Effort are both on CJ. I could be wrong about that. I know one of them is.
I think Roro is. I am not 100% sure about Effort.
Yeah, I'm not positive either, but both the Zergs of Kespa are really strong. Jaedong, although knocked out of Kodos, is still very scary to play against, even in StarCraft 2. Although he's kind of, I haven't heard too much about him recently. The Kespa players are very, very good at StarCraft 2 right now, and they bring something different to the table. I think that the most accurate, gauge to see how good they're going to be is MVP. MVP was a very, very good practice Terran in StarCraft 1, and he's the one who has won 4 GSL championships, and going into his 5th one, a player like Flash is going to get the skills to play this game. And, I think MVP is really showing that if you were a top level StarCraft 1 player like him, and like all these like champions of StarCraft 1, then you're going to be scary in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And MVP actually getting very close to winning another GSL final. It's not going to give any spoilers or anything like that, but I mean, I will say MVP has been doing pretty well recently. And, actually just jumping a little bit into the actual game at hand, we do actually end up seeing very similar builds coming out of both of these players again. We see that very fast 3 command center coming out of LiquidSea, and meanwhile LiquidRet going for that fast 3rd and also delaying those 2 gas guys. So I mean, do you think we're basically just going to be seeing the same kind of transitions out of both these players in this game?
It looks like it. This is identical builds, like exactly the same builds from each game. Now the one thing we'll be interested to see, I don't see Ret changing up, but I could see C changing up. Although he's going to play more of a macro style for this game as well, I think he'll try to do something a little differently, because I think that Ret is a type of player who won't change things up too much, but C is someone, as all Korean Terrans, really like to demonstrate a wide variety of attacks and builds. And already we see 3 racks going down and the Reactor Hellions, which is different from last game where we saw the 1 racks into Reactor Hellions into Banshees. We will not see Banshees this game. We're going to see a nice, solid, probably either Marine Medevac timing Marine Medevac Hellion timing, or just Hellions and Marauders and Marines, some version of these. Or he's going to go for Banshees as well, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I should watch more Terran builds.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. At least, at a minimum, the Banshee will be much more delayed than the last game, which is a huge relief because I was getting a little bit worried that I had accidentally loaded up the exact same replay from the last game, from game number 1. And, it's a little bit comforting to know that no, it's not the same replay as, again, we actually do see 2 Hellions poking their way across the map, but behind it is going to be a much larger bio force, and you know, around 7 minutes 45 seconds, Tech Lab landing with or connecting with that starport. And I'm actually really curious to see whether we're going to see Cloak coming out from LiquidSea once again.
With the Tech Lab going on the barracks, I don't know if he'll get Cloak, especially with the 2 engineering bays. I think he's going to skip Cloak this game. But we see the third as being taken really, really fast this game, and Rhett predicted that. He sent Merlings all the way around the side of the map to avoid the Hellions, and he's going to try to get a couple kills here on some SCVs and do a little damage on this third, but he's trying to wait for an opportunity where the Hellions won't be coming out of the factory, because he wants the Hellions that spawn to be on the other side of the map when he moves in with these Lings, or he could wait for speed. Speed's about, yeah, he's going to wait for speed. As soon as speed finishes, he's hitting the third.
Oh yeah, he is moving in right now, and we're going to see how much damage he can do, but the Hellions from LiquidSea are making a bit of a retreat. They're going to try and see how much defense they can do, and meanwhile, the Zerglings are just going to go ahead and get roasted by those Hellions, actually intercepted by 2 additional Hellions and a Banshee, so just not the day for those Zerglings.
Really, really smart play by C we saw there. After denying the creep for a little bit, he started to bring them back to his third and position them in the middle of the map, but close to his third. He knew that speed would be finishing shortly, and he wanted them close enough to defend his third if the speedling showed up. And it's really, really smart by him, because now Rhett just invested a lot of Lings that didn't do anything. His layer is just finishing. It's kind of a late layer at 10 minutes, and C has total map control, and with 3 bases, I think this is looking really scary for Rat. 3 base for 3 base, and C is looking very dominant this game.
Oh, definitely. I completely agree. But I mean, one thing that I will have to say though is that C definitely needs to start cleaning up some of this creep spread. In comparison to last game, the creep spread from Rhett has been freaking fantastic, as those Hellions just were not able to hinder that creep spread as much as they were in game number 1 because of that Zergling run by. The Hellions had to retreat, and Rhett just used it as another opportunity to go ahead and spread that creep out a little bit more. And now we can see, actually, even though C does have a little bit more of that map control, there's just so much creep to try and clean up that he's just not going to be able to. And we see the Queens landing down an additional 7 or so creep tumors, and very soon he's actually going to be encroaching on the potential 4th expansions of C.
Yeah, Rhett's playing this really smart, really getting his creep spread out this game. I think he realized last game that his creep spread was a little too weak. He didn't establish the map control he needed. The 6 Hellions applied too much pressure, and he's using the creep spread to really push the Terran back, because Hellions on creep get outrun, and here there comes the surround by the Lynx. That's all dead. They're dead. Oh my god.
Speaking of creep spread, helping those the Zerglings get the surround on the Hellions, I mean, we just saw a fantastic example of that. And now even the poor Banshee just going to be, or actually not the poor Banshee, the poor Zergling just getting attacked constantly by that poor little Banshee that's, you know, all of his friends are now dead. He does have 9 kills, but I mean, Banshee not really being too effective at this point, I have to say. I mean, I really wish it was trying to do a little bit more harassment, but actually we see a drop going in the main of LiquidRet. Those Marines are going to stim in, see how much damage they can do.
There's a push coming in. He's taking out a bunch of creep at the third right now. This is really smart by C, using the drop to bring back the army while he takes up all the creep is cleaned up. All the active tumors are gone. Everything that Rhett has worked for this game is being turned around, and this slight variation in his build is what is allowing him to do this. The fact that he only got 1 Banshee and no Cloak really is allowed for faster upgrades, faster tech, faster tanks, and now he can just pick up and fly away.
Yep, exactly, and with that pickup, he's going to save most of his army. A couple of poor little Marines get left over. There's just no room in the medevac, and you know, we actually see the drop going back into the main, so just pulling Rhett apart from every angle possible. And, you know, even though the drop does get cleaned up by that Spore Crawler and all these Zerglings swarming into the main, I mean, the damage has been done by C. We can see over here in the unit counting station, even though there are 75 drones to 76 SCVs, the main fact is, again, all of those freaking creep tumors were cleaned up, and Ret looks like he wants to put on a bunch of really big aggression right now.
Yeah, Ret looks like he's gonna go for a huge timing here. He's got 4 bases, he's getting all of his tech, he's got an Ultra Cavern, he's got a Spire on the way. Has not started +3/+3, which might show that he's, oh, there he goes, there we go, that's what I was looking for. The fact that he started +3/+3, he's gonna try to get a little aggressive here, but I don't think he'll go too crazy, because with the tank count currently that C has, it'll be very hard to press into the third or natural of C, and he'll have to wait for the push to come. But this push is gonna be scary. They're almost even on supply, and Ret's trying to transition into Ultralisks, and will the Ultralisks be out in time?
Yeah, I mean, actually a really interesting note is just on the topic of those Ultralisks is, a lot of the times we have seen Zergs complain, you know, Ultralisk, the only time that you see Ultralisk actually come out is when a Zerg player has a big lead and they want to lose. So, I mean, it's really cool to see Ret mixing the Ultralisk in a relatively effective way.
And the flank!
Oh, we actually do see, it looks like the entire army of Ret coming down on LiquidSea's army, and wow, that flank is so good! Oh my god! And C's army just got cleaned up. I think Ret is going to be able to just push into the natural now.
Yes, this was a really great play by Ret. Ret did something a little different this game. He also produced very heavily. If you look at his fourth, he has no drones there. He just massed up and massed up and massed up and was waiting for this push out. That's why he pushed the creep so hard across the top. If you look at the bottom of the map, he really had no creep spread coming, but across the top he was ensuring he had that under control because he wanted to catch this army at its weakest, right at the entrance to the natural, and he did, and he just smashed through it. And with the amount of with how few little supply he lost in the attack, he was able to just end the game.
Yeah, and exactly what you were saying. Having the creep spread along the top side where he knows he's going to have to be expanding toward, he knows that his fourth expansion is going to be going down close to that third expansion as well. So by having the creep spread even further over there with those 2 queens, I mean, that is automatically securing his fourth and his third, and he knows that C is going to be pushing down along that route. So really, really smart play coming out from Ret. But I mean, that's going to spell the end of game number 2, and it's actually going to tie up the series 1-1. And I'm pretty excited to jump into game number 3. How about you, Alex?
I'm very excited. I'm curious to see what C is going to bring. I think Ret will do the same thing, personally, but I think C will bring another build to the table, or he's going to do a very similar build, because this probably is maybe just practice games for them, and he might do a very similar standard style on this map, but it'll be interesting to see his adjustments, because we saw that in game number 2, he only got 1 Banshee and no Cloak, and does he feel like that was worth it? I mean, it seemed like it was a strong build as he got faster upgrades and faster tanks, but as soon as he moved out, Ret was waiting for him. Ret was in position to crush that army. He knew exactly what C was doing, and C got crushed for it. So C will have to bring something new to the table to have a chance in this third game.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that is kind of something that's just going to happen to someone that's still trying to learn the game. I mean, Ret has been playing since the beta, and C is... I mean, he has been playing for at least a little bit. I know that all the Kespa players, despite all the rumors, have been playing for at least 6 or so months. But I mean, there's still a lot of different builds and things that he can try out and learn to just fine-tune and tweak. So, going to be really cool to see what he can come out with. And yeah, with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into game number 3. It's going to be in the annotations below. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next time.